Alright guys, it's Jerningham here. They're talking about putting the military on the streets in London for the virus.
Up to 20,000
There you go.
service personnel,
Army person.
including reservists, will be put on standby to help provide this resilience. It's a doubling of the normal strength. They'll be called the COVID Support Force. The plans being drawn up in this building could see the military providing life-saving support during this crisis. Dozens of troops are already being trained as tanker drivers to deliver oxygen supplies, and officers are looking at ways to expand hospital bed capacity for the public. Options range from possibly converting hotels or barracks to using tented field hospitals and even military ships. Even with coronavirus a priority, the military must also keep defending Britain's skies, maintain a nuclear deterrent submarine at sea, and fight Islamic State.
Yep,
But
it's happening.
COVID-19 is a threat to troops as well. Some could be isolated for their own protection or quarantined to check they're healthy. Holiday leave for anyone on operations has just been cancelled.
But there are tasks that are out there that can't stop. The continuous at-sea deterrence being a great example. There's a submarine out there right now under the water, which is either the safest place on the planet or the most dangerous place on the planet, depending on whether or not they've got a case.
Looks like we're gearing up for war, guys.
Back in the civilian world, shopkeepers are hunkering down. Not an option for the military, though some training and exercises have been cancelled. Empty streets, a product of the crisis, and a signal that troops may be needed to help in this battle against an invisible enemy. Deborah Haynes, Sky News.
The new Bank of England governor has told Sky News that nothing is off the table, including printing money in terms of emergency support for the economy. Andrew Bailey's words had little effect on the markets, though, or on the pound, which hit its lowest level against the dollar on Wednesday in more than 30 years. The bank's governor told Ed Conway he believes there is an economic emergency.
He promised to do whatever it takes. But whatever it takes clearly wasn't enough. The Chancellor pledging billions of pounds to businesses, but when markets opened, they delivered a withering verdict. Now the man at the helm of the Bank of England tells Sky News he will go even further if necessary.
It would be foolhardy of me, and I'm not going to do it, to say the Bank of England's done. Of course the Bank of England's not done. But we have to support the people of this country.
There's potentially very radical tools that some people have talked about, printing money, distributing it directly to people. Do you rule out any of that stuff as well?
I think nobody in their right mind in my role would say, well, there are following things I would never do, because that's foolish.
In short, there will be more. Because the governor who took over from Mark Carney only this Monday believes this is as serious as it gets.
It's obviously an emergency. It's a very serious situation. It's striking how much it's moved on, how rapidly it's moved on. It's entirely sensible, therefore, that we've had to step in and take more measures together this week.
The governor says he is determined to get ahead of markets. But today, the pound dropped to the lowest level against the dollar in 35 years. Lower than after the EU referendum, lower than the financial crisis, lower than Black Wednesday in 1992, the lowest since the Plaza Accord of 1985. That's evidence of investors pulling money out of the country. But there are even more visible signs of an economic slump when you simply step out of your door.
This time last week, when the bank did its emergency cut in interest rates, the streets outside here, Threadneedle Street, one of the busiest parts of the city, were still bustling, but I can't remember seeing them quite as quiet as they are at the moment. And it's unprecedented what's happening in the economy as well. Not the financial crisis, not any recession in modern history, not even the war can compare to it, because vast parts of the economy are effectively going into hibernation. And no one knows when they're going to wake up and what they're going to look like.
It all points to the government doing more. More, Rishi Sunak told MPs today, for renters. More for those who've lost their jobs.
I'm absolutely alive to the urgency, and everyone, not just myself, but you talk about the Treasury way, everyone inside the Treasury is working around the clock to ensure that we can deliver these things.
There are nuclear buttons left to press. The one Andrew Bailey says he hasn't ruled out is to fund those giveaways to the public by creating cash. helicopter money. It never came to it during the 2008 crisis, but given this is a real economic emergency, who knows? Ed Conway, Sky News.
Coming up on Sky News.
Italy. Yeah.
Making music during self-isolation, one choir master's plan to lift the nation's spirits.
Well, you heard that for yourself, guys. The army are going to be preparing to get ready for war. They're going to put 20,000 army on the streets in the UK. And any other country, I think, is going to get ready as well. Like submarines and stuff, and it's like we're going into a war. Some people can say we're not, but we are. It's like we're getting killed by an invisible enemy, which that coronavirus is killing people silently, especially the old people. They need to get a vaccine. They ain't got one yet, have they? So it's ridiculous. More lives are going to die. People are going to lose their lives. Not good, is it? It always shows the globe on the TV, but we don't know why it does it.
Now, the big supermarkets are bringing in rationing of some products to cope with the surge in demand. Tesco, Sainsbury's, Asda, Morrison's, Aldi and Lidl are restricting shoppers to 2 or 3 packs of things like toilet rolls, pasta and long-life milk. Some are also bringing in elderly-only hours to help more vulnerable customers. A prisoner at HMP Manchester has become the first to test positive for COVID-19 and is now being treated in hospital. The prison service said there are no other confirmed cases, but 13 prisoners and 4 members of staff are being isolated as a precaution. Ryanair has said it will cut flights by 80% from midnight tonight. The company said only a very small number of routes will continue to maintain connectivity, mainly between the UK and Ireland. Live music's being badly hit by the shutdown. Glastonbury confirmed the inevitable yesterday, announced that its 50th anniversary event would not go ahead. But some people are stepping up to try to lift people's spirits. Sky's arts and entertainment correspondent Lucy Cotter reports on how one famous choir primo is trying to tap into ordinary people's desire for making music.
Tickets for this year's Glastonbury sold out in just minutes, with around 200,000 people expected to celebrate its 50th anniversary in June. But music lovers around the world affected by cancellations and isolation have been getting creative to ensure the music plays on. In Italy, they've been singing to raise their spirits. Lockdown has led to the most magical music and heartwarming scenes. Now choirmaster extraordinaire Gareth Malone is determined to get Britain in tune.
Glastonbury being cancelled, that collective, that feeling that you are part of something, a magical moment in time, we're not going to have that. So we need to find alternatives. We need other ways to feel good about ourselves.
Hold back the river, let me look in your eyes. Gareth has formed countless choirs around the country and is famed for bringing people together through music.
Loneliness is going to be a very big problem. The virus itself it's just one problem. Mental health is going to be a huge issue, I think, over the coming months, and I think we are in for the long haul.
So Gareth is going digital, appealing to the public and professionals to join his Great British Home Chorus. And musicians around the globe are also engaging. Coldplay's Chris Martin has been streaming free gigs from his living room, with John Legend doing the same.
You know that love in me.
And bands like Codaline, who've been forced to cancel concerts, are looking at releasing material online.
That's the power of social media, and in this day of age, it actually is probably exciting to see what musicians and different creative people will come up with online. It keeps morale up and it keeps people kind of together, you know. Something positive to come out of something so scary, I suppose, in a way.
So musicians will be adapting and harnessing the power of music in the months to come. Lucy Cotter, Sky News.
Well, a coronavirus vaccine is likely to still be months away, with the first human trials starting in the US earlier this week. But already hundreds of clinical studies are underway around the world to find potential treatments short of a cure. Sky Science correspondent Thomas Moore reports now on the research into treating the virus.
In a lab at Southampton General Hospital, they've got the coronavirus in their sights. Doctors will start trials next week of a new drug on patients currently in critical care. It's codenamed SNG-001 and inhaled through a nebulizer.
This is a device which is able to deliver the drug in a fine mist into the lungs of patients.
It's already been shown to improve the recovery of patients with asthma and COPD from other lung infections. Doctors have high hopes it will work against COVID-19.
Intensive care units have been overwhelmed with patients. They're running out of ventilators. The facilities are not there to care for them as they would be looked after normally now. And so anything that can reduce the impact on services, either by reducing the number of patients requiring ventilation or shortening the duration of illness to allow people to leave those units earlier, as you suggest, would have an enormous impact.
The drug, made by Synergen, is a special formulation of beta-interferon, a protein that stops viruses from infecting cells. 100 patients from up to 10 hospitals will be treated at first. If it works, it will be rapidly rolled out nationwide. So urgent is the need that scientists are throwing pretty much anything at the coronavirus to see what sticks. There are 300 clinical trials already underway of different drugs and experimental therapies. Many are treatments already used for other clinical conditions. They're known to be safe, and they could be fast-tracked onto the wards. The most promising include remdesivir, a drug developed to treat Ebola and being tested on COVID-19 patients in the US. Kaletra, an HIV treatment in trials in China. And chloroquine, a long-standing anti-malarial drug being repurposed as a coronavirus treatment in France and China. A vaccine may be the long-term goal, but in Australia, doctors are testing chloroquine and Kaletra head-to-head. Antiviral treatment could save lives now.
We know the safety of these drugs, so we don't have to trial them in guinea pigs or petri dishes. We can go straight and give them to patients.
The race to find treatment is global. The UK government has taken steps to secure a supply of drugs that look promising and prevent them being exported. The demand for effective treatment will be high. Thomas Moore, Sky News, Southampton.
Coming up on Sky News, we'll take another look at the morning's papers in our press preview.
I don't think they've got the virus treatment yet. They're still making it. But I think they're making it, we've just seen the video. They haven't got it yet, mate.
You're watching Sky News. Our top stories this morning. Sky News understands that shops could close and transport could be restricted to key workers under lockdown plans being considered for London. 40 tube stations are to close from this morning. The Prime Minister has announced that all schools in England are to close to slow the spread of COVID-19. Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland have announced similar measures. And more than 600 new cases have been diagnosed, and there have been more than 100 deaths. Here's Anna now with another look at the papers.
Hello there, you're watching the press preview. Our first look at what's on the front pages as they arrive. Over the next half an hour, we'll see what's making the headlines.
Like I say, guys, if you want to watch the rest of this programme that I'm showing now, you can watch it on Sky News, you can watch it on YouTube. And I'm going to wrap it up with this video.
And the Metro reports on the closure of schools across the UK from
thank you for joining me. Give it a like, give it a comment, share it with your friends.
Empty-handed after supermarket shoppers panic bought essential supplies. The Daily Mirror criticises what it says is a lack of clarity over closures. Their headline, Schools Virus Chaos. The Times highlights the fact that exams will have to be cancelled. Students have been told that they will get the qualifications they need, according to the Eye. The Express strikes a hopeful note, reporting on new testing measures and potential treatments. The Mail reporting that the Prime Minister hinted at more draconian measures to come. The Telegraph alludes to the possibility of a London lockdown, while The Guardian carries a striking image of an empty Trafalgar Square. The FT leads with the damaging effect on the pound, oil prices and world markets. And The Star speaks out against toilet paper hoarders, or as the paper calls them, bog roll bandits.
Right, guys, I will catch you in the next video. Thank you for joining me. And you guys let me know what you think about it. Like I say, if you want to watch the rest of this programme, the woman and the two guys on the news channel, which I'm watching now, watch it on YouTube. You can watch it on anywhere. Anyway, thank you for joining me. Peace. And this is the next one. Peace. And the notification bell always helps me do another video.